Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once more to the ESL Katowice Royale, and we are getting very much down to business time now on our duos competition. 4 rounds gone. We've got 3 rounds to come today as well. But before we get into our next round, we had a little bit of fun with the players once more. We had to find out how they get those names. How'd you get Myth? How'd you get it? We'll find out.
Basically, in some Oriental language, his nickname means poop.
Yes. But it was just because...
It was an accident.
Yeah.
Somebody told him, and he's like,
Interesting. Well, it's not really interesting, but Twitch cleared a lot of names, so I was just testing a lot of random words, and BI worked, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it.
My nickname's, well, Aiden is just my name. I just go by my first name, so pretty basic. But besides that, as simple as that. No backstory to that.
Yeah, my name used to be Bizzle, and eventually when I joined a team, I just cut it down to Bizzle. Pretty simple, but I like it.
Well, not really. I used to play a lot of Xbox, and I just wanted to make my name like match my clan's name. So I put like my clan name and then Myth, and I was like, this sounds right. And then I just stuck with Myth from then, and I went from like other names that had Myth in it. And I was like, you know, I just really like people just end up calling me Myth anyways. So I was like, I'll just make my name Myth.
My name used to be Nikaru, but it got banned on Twitch for some reason. So I had to change my name, and I just looked up cool name that starts with A, and Aspect came up, and that's been my name since probably like 7-8 months.
Yours is interesting.
Yeah, mine's my last name. In fact, ESL thinks that's my in-game name, so all my stuff's just my last name right now.
So it's just the first letter of my first name, 2 letters of my last name put together, and created Demo, so just kind of stuck with it.
I think I got my name from like a random name generator website.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck?
It's a good name to get from a random name generator.
Such a variety of ways to come up with a game attack, right? It's like, yeah, random name generator. We had shortening of letters. How did you come up with Baller?
I played basketball.
All right, okay.
So I was the young baller, and then I'm now the old baller, so I just cut that off.
Okay, fair enough.
He's just a baller.
He's just absolute. That's what I was going to say. I was hoping you'd go, I'm just a baller, man. Come on, like, is it not obvious by now? Fantastic stuff. Great to hear from the players once more. But we also want to hear from you guys at home again. So keep using that hashtag ESL Katowice Royale. Keep sending your questions in for the guys on the desk. And again, send us the pictures of where you're watching. We want to see where you guys are watching the Katowice Royale and how you're enjoying all of the action. And good news, gentlemen. I believe that we actually have some social media questions for you.
Do we?
This is my favorite thing because I love seeing your guys' faces drop every time they come up. All right, let's have a look. Opinion on our Polish players. Kind of underperforming at home? Question mark.
I don't know. Tajowski and Nero. He's the Polish player. He knows more about the scene. But Tajowski and Nero are not underperforming to me right now. They're overperforming, really, in comparison to their performances last weekend.
That is definitely true, especially Tajowski. He's kind of redeeming himself, especially in the, I think, game 2, when he was clutching in the end game, got like 4 kills or something like that. The crowd was going wild about it. And I feel like they still have a lot of space to improve on. They're landing on the new location next to Lazy Lagoon, so there's still a lot to learn when it comes to positioning and so on. I'm hoping they're going to do well in general.
Okay, well, we've got another one coming in for you, gents. They're coming in thick and fast at the moment, so let's take a look at the next one. Who are your top 3 dark horse duos to win this tournament? That's an interesting one.
I'm going to start. I'm looking forward to History. He actually finished, I think, top 9 in the solos. The Brazilian team might show up like really big, you know, in the duos as well.
And very, very quickly, Baller, who's your underdogs? Who's going to perform? Because look what's happening in the background. The game's about to get underway. So quick, who's underperforming? Who do you think is going to be the secret duo? Comes out of nowhere.
Stompy and Shinken.
There you go, that's enough. Anyway, round 5 is about to get underway. I'm cutting you off. You gave me your answer. Let's get into this one, gentlemen. I'm excited for this. We've only got a few rounds to go.
Let's go, Lothar. We're so excited here going to round number 5, and it's actually Tomo and Item we're going to start with because they are doing so well, Lothar. They're up in the standings.
They're going up, and they have a great position to actually getting, like, you know, the initial damage against Stomsage. Look at this. If we would have had an AR, probably would have started shooting at people just flying over to Pleasant Park. Now we're back to VP. By the way, they jumped from position 8 to position 3 right now after the previous game. 2 consistent finishes for them back-to-back.
3rd place right now. That's really nice to see. And one of the strong things about it is because they are winning Paradise. You get so much loot here. It's such a strong position. That's why everybody, we talked about it last time, that's why everybody wants to come here. But now,
jumping to
the same fight we saw the other day, or earlier, Lil J versus 07. They're getting the advantage, taking out whooping first, and it's just Skix now. But he does get the first win, and I think this is actually going to go in the advantage of the Chinese team here. Last time it went, I think it was Skix who clutched up against both of them.
To be honest, whooping and Skix not really performing well so far.
We just had that question.
They have to switch it up. You know, it's just not working out. Lucky landing is not lucky landing for them. But let's talk about this zone. This is a south zone, which is also like getting a little bit of the water. So it's getting the people closer to each other. But now we're at Frosty Flights, where we have Stompy and Shinken, the duo that you wanted to see perform well.
Yeah.
And they're against Ryux and his teammate Mark.
Don't.
Oh, never mind. Well,
what just happened?
What just happened here? I think he got shot down like he was just standing on the one wall.
Okay. Regardless, Shinken and Stompy here in Frosty Flights. This is one of those spots that has so much loot. I don't think they realize that Marky is down. So Ryux is going to try to sneak around. They're all in the house. We'll see if Shinken does get up on the high ground. That's one of the tactics in duos. Kind of just grab a piece of high ground and then you're able to spot everything. But no, they don't know he's there. So Marky Locuras is going to get picked up, and they're going to have a chance here against Stompy and Shinken.
He still has 1 minute to give to his friend. Oh, actually, he's at the 100 armor.
Fall damage it was off of the side of that iceberg there.
Yeah, the shield is still there. They can still take the fight, but now Stompy with a great loadout, a blue shotty, and an AR, and also the disco bombs. Very underrated item, especially early game.
And so we'll see whether they decide to engage. This is actually, I think Heretics, the team here, has the bigger loot pile, so actually they might have the advantage in terms of loot. We'll see, though. Shinken and Stompy had much more time since they were actually picking up his teammate.
He's trying to find the 10 seconds to pop off the medkit so he can get back the 70 HP that he lost after the full damage. But now Shinken with the clinger is going to interrupt it. And no, he actually got it off.
Nice play there, Marky. Gets it off. One of the things, though, they have had no time to farm. And look at the materials for Shinken. They're in such a good advantage here against these players here, the Heretics guys. And actually, now he's going to try to push, but again, he's running out of materials.
That's 5 materials right now. Oh, the calls and the clinger.
It hits him. No, it just extra damage there from the shots after it exploded. And Stompy and Shinken, that's their time to strike. They're going to say, let's go. We got clingers. We got the disco.
They have an advantage. He just shot his head for 65. He's pushing. Stompy with those.
Just barely misses Marky as he backs up again, but there he's going to take out Ryux. What was those shots, Lothar? And again onto Marky as well. And Stompy saves the day.
Touches it and regains 100 HP at the same time, goes from 55 to 155. Great play by him. He didn't get intimidated after he got lasered in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and so here we have Poverty and Zeke against our third place team. The VP guys, Jamside and SSK7. And the positioning here, Poverty and Zeke are going to be able to rotate off over towards those risks. But now Nikov and Airwax, again against the Japanese guys. It's Rizard and Llama trying to push onto them. They're not going to be able to manage it. Nikov is going to actually break that down. No, he's connected, so he's okay. Llama does go down to the bottom, though, as the dynamite starts to tick. Airwax on the natural height. That's going to be good for him. That box is going to stay put.
Rizard tries to regain the high ground, but there's a fantastic angle from Nikov. But he's now getting lasered. He needs to bunker up.
Yeah, he comes up from behind, and that was such a nice play there from the Airwax and Nikov duo. Nikov got the angle as Llama tried to push up on Airwax, and now Airwax is going to rotate back over to Nikov and get the double angle onto Llama.
Llama needs to clutch it, otherwise it's looking pretty grim.
Yeah, and we actually did just see Airwax finish Rizard, so he gets the HP bonus there, and Llama is left alone. He has no chance to revive.
He has a lot of builds, but can he clutch it?
See, low HP as well, no shields, and here comes Airwax. They're going for the pinch now. You can see he's already trying to get that edit off, and he's actually going to edit right back on top of him. No, Llama's stuck in the box, and that's just really good timing there. He didn't manage to get that turbo build off.
What can you do when a team just pinces you like that from 2 angles like a crab?
Especially such a strong team like Nikov and Airwax.
Yeah. You can see the synergy between those 2 players.
Yeah. And here Funk Bomb and Nate against Dementos and Flexi.
Will it be a fatal fields for their opponents?
Well, so far the cornfields are definitely fatal as they clear it out with dynamite. That's a new trick that I just learned just now, that you can just use the dynamite to clear it out and make sure that nobody's hiding in there. Here's the first shots going in. Funk Bomb trying to get the hand cannon shots to start.
He also has the purple dualies, which is a fantastic item. But again, no builds for him. He forgets about that. He's getting punished.
Getting punished there, but it's just all up to Nate now. Actually,
he got the finish. He got the 50 HP, but it wasn't good enough. So Nate comes victorious, but without his teammate.
Nate there does save it for them, but unfortunately not for Funk, so he's going to be still in contention. Here's Kaffe and Beehive. We saw them in Pleasant earlier. They're one of the teams that I'm keeping an eye out on as well in the standings. I think they're in 8th or 9th place right now.
Nice sidestep from Beehive to get that high ground from below the ramp. But now Camo has still the high ground. Issa is down below, using the campfire to still heal.
Yeah, and this is such a dangerous duo to go up against, Camo and Issa. With Camo on high ground, Issa on low ground. It's actually like a little bit of a pinch in the verticality here, but Zeke and Poverty, we saw them rift away from Paradise, now chasing down Vialanen and Windwalker.
But now they're just at another fight, another day, another fight for them.
I feel like we've always seen Vialanen and Windwalker just running away from fights, people chasing them down, but no, it's going to be Poverty. They're going to stand their ground this time, and here we go. Poverty trying to take shots. He does take a little bit of fall damage, but he's going to go right underneath, try to drop them down through the floor. And now Zeke as well up on high ground.
He wants those
Somebody
pinky
took
shots,
it.
man.
Yeah, he just took it. I'm not sure who it was, but now they're in a different situation as this fight starts to slow down a little bit, but Zeke still has it. Windwalker and Vialanen are now split.
They are split. I don't think they have any rifts. There's no way of just getting here without winning this fight.
And so we got the new zone. They have quite a ways till that starts moving, but they are way away from it. So they're going to decide what the opportunity here is. What is the opportunity cost in terms of position versus getting for this fight? As Windwalker and Vialanen start to turtle.
They have the ultimate low ground.
Ooh.
Oh, but he got just...
How did he get in there? That wall just went down. He gets the edit as well, and Poverty jumps down, but he's not going to finish it. And Vialanen comes from the side, so he wins that. And now it's all up to Vialanen onto Zeke. And he's gonna...
Zeke got it. Zeke got it, but he's alone as well. No, Poverty is still alive with few HP points, so he wasn't finished.
What a clutch there by Zeke. That was so scary as he was running in there. Poverty was... He got that wall, edited it, and then all of a sudden, the team collapsed on him.
And you know what happened later? Vialanen, after the knock, wanted to finish Poverty, so he shot him with the shotgun, but didn't get lethal damage, so he couldn't heal. And I think that was instrumental to his loss.
Indeed. And one thing I just saw in that player update there, Kaffe and Beehive did end up going down, so I assume that's to Issa and Camo, as we did check on them earlier. And so now, Madsen and Seth rotating through that divot, such a scary place to be when you're rotating in the mid game. And guess who they have to go through? It's Skype and Vato.
Power and Joel, the second Fnatic duo here in this tournament. Not doing great so far, but you know, it's just around 5 out of 14, still a lot of opportunities. Madsen and Seth behind them, just using their builds most likely to rotate earlier on, but no, they're going in the other direction, going west.
Yeah, everybody trying to grab some distance in between each other. And as we go through Salty, remember, we saw the zone earlier, it's going down over towards Fatal, all the way south, covering Lucky Landing.
Look at
that. Exactly where we are, Animal and Aspect.
Provoked and Tugs, already on the high ground. They found their spot.
Finding a little bit of natural hill there. It's going to be really nice for them because nobody can build underneath them.
We still have 81 players alive. We're going into the phase 3 of the Storm.
And remember, guys, this is match 5. Actually, Aspect just took out Nate Hill. We saw him. He was a solo earlier, and Faxfox is actually flying in as well. He's by himself.
A rifle from 7 meters. What? That was unexpected.
Nate just flew in. We saw it on the screen, the tail end of it. And again, match 5 out of 7 today, but remember, we still have 7 more tomorrow, so these players are trying to make their last few marks on the day. Try to scare everybody going into the second day here, but Vivid and Poach, they actually grabbed the gas station right outside of Lucky, and that's really good for them. We talked about the brick importance earlier.
That is so important. Just having the possibility of building a cover for yourself while not losing mats and just regaining them from replacing walls is instrumental to just being, you know, in a good position in the next rotation. But here, less stream, we saw them using a quad crusher, so most likely they just flew in to that position, and now they have to, like, you know, just make the best out of this situation.
I'm pretty sure we just saw them right outside of Dusty when they were gatekeeping and they were rotating next to Fnatic. And so that quad crusher rotations, they're so strong.
And you can do the same with the cannonball, by the way.
Yes, you can. We saw it this morning, actually. I was showing the clip to everybody. You can fly with the cannon.
Very similar fashion to the Quad Crusher, might be a viable strategy in the entire Season 8 so far, but now we're moving back to Paradise.
Ooh.
Actually, not so close to Paradise, but still on the brink of the desert
So
and the
it's
grass.
Myth.
Poppy and Zeke, look at another fight right now, but it's 18 HP for Zeke. He needs to use those minis, but he has no time. He's being just tangled into a fight.
And Cloud actually gets a lot of time there as Fnatic and the other players start to shoot down on Zeke and Poverty. He got some time to heal, and Myth also gets some time to get back into him. But no, we'll see here. Poverty against Myth and Cloud, and Myth is in a box. He's getting pressured. Poverty on top. Cloud as well, on the back foot as well.
But Zeke has not a lot of HP, and he is in the zone. He needs to move.
He's so low, Cloud is. But Myth still has a lot of HP. He can do a lot of work here. Zeke and Poverty again. We'll see what goes down, but Zeke goes down. Poverty's still up. Myth and Cloud go down, and all the players are paying attention to this outside in the zone.
Well, you know, that's one hell of a minefield there. Aiden getting tagged. Nick Max is down, already eliminated from the game. And Aiden with the 63 HP, oh no!
Yeah, and one of the things there, we saw the fight in the zone by Myth and Cloud. This is the time when people really need to start deciding, hey, do I really want to be fighting here? Can I just kind of turtle up, just get in the zone and back off? Because again, they saw everybody hungry for those elims on the edge of zone.
68 people still on the map. So far away from the Storm Surge threshold.
Yeah, this game is a lot more aggressive. If we actually see the number of players up, I think we'll be surprised in terms of the amount of players. We haven't heard that Storm Surge tick once. No, everybody vying for position here.
We see the stream still in the same position as they were when they landed the Crowd Crusher.
Tux and Provoked as well. Aspect and Animal taking a little bit more of a high ground approach as they were down on low ground before when Nate did run into them.
Just wanted to give you a small bit of an info. Zipan eliminated Svenas with a rifle from 208 meters.
Wow, that's a long shot there.
I don't think he had a scope on that rifle, though.
I think we saw somebody, I think actually Svenos, the recipient of that shot, took such a long snipe the other day. I think it was over 280 meters or something like that. But
crazy.
Regardless, here we go. Towards that mid-game right now. It's going to slow down as players decide, hey, Storm Surge is nowhere near right now. We see the X2 twins. We see E11, Kripa, and Boyer trying to take some shots as well. There's Sky and Vato, just like we said, the same position.
They have a Rift available. They're keeping it close because if someone will just move with explosive on them, they're going to use the Rift instantly.
Yeah. And talk to me about the setup going into endgame. We just talked about the Rift. What are all the goals going into it as Magin gets pressured here from Taoski and Nero?
Well, if you want to really simplify it, if you don't have mobility items, you need to wait for other people to use it and just take advantage of that. But if you have your own mobility items, you just want to be safe, you don't want to be passive, and you want to use them probably at the end of this of the phase. But now let's look at Nero and Tayovsky fighting, and they're struggling against all those explosives. They hear them from every single angle, and they need to be turbo building to just be safe, not to get tagged along, because being tagged when you don't have a lot of, you know, just shields in your inventory, well, spells doom in the end game. But now Poach inside the bush.
Yeah, in the bush. We talked about it already. We saw Aiden go down as well. That bush provides a layer of protection on the first shot. And so everybody now trying to get that set up, just like we talked about the mobility if they need it. If they need anything else, they're going to go try to push for it. But remember, we just saw Tayowski and Nero, they were taking a little bit of an aggressive approach, taking some shots, but that draws so much attention.
Yeah, that's the problem. When you start being aggressive in an end game, you might get pushed from other angles because people see there's, you know, there's a lot of partying going down, so we can just join in as another party, and that just happens usually in the end game.
And all the players we've been tracking in terms of positioning, people who are staying still, are all going to have to move now as it goes further west, or further east, sorry. There's two.
So pretty flat land, so a lot of opportunity to just take in the low ground without being like pinched between a small hill.
Right, on the rotate, there's Zayt and Saf as well. And it's actually going towards that desert area. There's a few massive hills in that area, so flat ground for now, but as they all make their way over, it's going to be trouble. Here, Power and Jar on top of the shrine.
We have
They're looking for it.
versus G2.
They're looking for it here. They're trying to find exactly where these are. No, he's just going to pick up some wood and rotate down. Yeah, G2 on top. They say, no, we don't want anything to do with it. Now, you see 72 hours in the background. Vivid and Poach making the rotate as well. Kuna, Mitro, all up. Tomo and Item, another one of the teams. There's, I love getting to these end games because I just see all these players who are all up in the standings, so consistent. And I'm just like, yes, we're going to have such a good game.
Forward, Norwood. How did you came up with this name, man? I need to ask.
I love it. We saw somebody actually mentioned how they waited for, I think it was Myth actually said, hey, I just waited, I wanted to match my team, so he called himself what he did. And so Norwood there, forward Norwood. I love it, honestly.
Look at this inventory. What is going on? 3 big pots, 6 minis, so much shield available for them.
And that's what you need. He doesn't have any mobility, so he kind of has to compensate in another way, right?
Yeah, that is true, but at the same time, he has also very big, you know, bank account with his builds. There's a rift for Provoked as well. They have to keep it close to each other.
They have so many of those. A Chug Jug and minis as well for him. So they have a full stack of shield or big pots, a full stack of small shields, and then a Chug Jug as well. They're looking good. As Tux and Provoked took our last game, we'll see they're in a good shape to take our next one as well. Only 1 rift to go though, so that's a little dangerous for them. Here, Boya and Kripa. Look at this.
Is he playing solid gold or what is going on in here? A golden heavy AR is one of the best items you want in the end game because you can just snipe people out of the sky gliding.
All that aim practice pays off when you get that gold heavy AR. And now look, everybody has a rift. You can see everybody's trying to hold it as the zone starts moving. Saf takes down Norwood. We saw he was, I think he might have picked up his teammate as well, but we'll see. For now, there's the first sign of Storm Surge as everybody decided, hey, I want a little break as we go forward.
Everyone gets anxious at that sound, but now X8 is getting aggressive. He's being ticked by the Storm Surge. That's so much damage.
He's getting ticked, and at the same time, Bowman is making his life so dangerous. No, this is a different, actually, POV here.
But
as
yeah,
we switched.
And unfortunately, G2 is being eliminated. They were in aggressive now, but now Stompy is being... is that Stompy with the Storm Surge now?
I think it's every single one of these players, but no.
Nirvana and Inclide just being tagged, but now Inclide not gonna get tagged alone because his teammate's already down.
Stompy and Shinken here must have some sort of mobility that they're planning to use because they're not making any motion at all. No motion towards the zone. Kuna takes himself out as well, maybe to fall damage. And we'll see. Gliding across, there's that rift to go that we talked about. And there's the hill that we talked about as well. That half in, out zone. SSK7 and Jamside had such a strong position because they came from Paradise towards this desert area, so they were already here.
Yeah, and they can zone out everyone else. Nice 200 IQ trap to just avoid people landing at your box right now.
And so we're approaching that first moving zone. That's when things start to heat up. We just saw Zayt get Elim as well. Vivid takes out Bizzle.
Yep, big names, big names. Here Kripa with the elimination on
his loadout, though. We talked about he was playing solid gold, but when you're left with just the pump and a heavy IR, you're going to be in trouble. And there's Stompy and Shinken with that epic RPG. Takes out Charles. Just putting so much pressure on all these players trying to rotate and get a good position in the zone.
So many people just being eliminated right now. For the people still alive, Shinken and Stompy getting 10 points for eliminating Fnatic.
25 players, or 25 duos remaining now as well, so everybody's starting to get those placement points every time a duo goes down. Mitro in trouble as well. He's by himself. We saw Kuna get eliminated in the feed earlier. Vinny and Zexro still up. Demo as well.
Demo with the LM on motor. Very important, gives him the ability to just move a little bit in front.
This VP team so impressive, always having the high ground. We talked about why they have it here, but it's still going to be time to continue to hold it. And we'll see. It's going to probably go down the hill. Where's that zone? We'll see in a sec.
That
Demo
is
goes
so
down.
Important right now. The context of the next zone gives so many teams like the ability to take advantage of their builds and their movement items. But now Nero is just being pinched in this storm. He gets eliminated at the end of Devil's Wonder. Now E11 in a hard spot as well.
Everybody taking all the advantage, all the time to take those shots that they can. And there, SSK7 dropping down on Jam side. We'll see Boyer takes out Eric. There's so much mobility being used now. Everybody's starting to leech on everybody else. And look at this. This is actually crazy by 7 SSK7. He's tarping so far on high ground.
He is carpeting, but his... Oh, no, never mind.
Who it is? It's Provoked and Tux again. They take high ground with the rift that they had. And unfortunately, they have to be careful. Remember, that is such a small carpet. There's only one line there. And now, Jamside, this is the last one from SSK7. He tries to stay alive. He has the HP to stay in zone right here, and he's going to get away from that player. And now he makes it back into zone. He still has a chance here. Animal and Aspect as well going for high ground. You can see them right now. Kripa, Boyer, Stompy, Shinken still up.
Aspect and Animal taking the ultimate high ground right now. They're going to gatekeep everyone else from this position, carpeting in front. They're getting so much positioning right now, so much space, so much room to breathe.
This is so nice from them, that high ground. We saw how good it was for Provoked and Tux. They lost it just now, but Aspect and Animal, we'll see what they can do from high ground, see if they can have a perfect end game. And now, Vinny as well up. Sinu goes down. Poach actually alive as well.
Launcher, what was that?
That was so many players just fell, and Animal and Aspect, they decide, hey, actually this is the time I want to go down. And it's going over this water here, right in the fatal. There, Aspect picking up one more. Boyer goes down to Poach. Kinstar goes down to as well. 6 players remaining.
Already 4 of them on the Sentinels right now here.
Using
Vinny.
that campfire. As he does, it's actually Vinny versus Hunter versus Aspect and Animal. We've seen this situation already. Let them fight down on low ground and then clean up the remains. There it is.
There it goes. Hunter as well. And Animal and Aspect are taking the victory royale in round number 5.
That's insane. Again, we see the duo versus 2 solos down on low ground, and it ends the exact same way. Slightly differently, because it just all happened in an instant. Hunter goes down, and then they pick it up all together. Animal and Aspect, what a showing so far.
Fantastic showing by them. The ultimate high ground, as we had seen in the previous game, paying off right now as well. So many points gathered by them. I feel like 6 elims so far. That's 30 points, plus 65 for finishing first. That gives them a huge edge.
Big stuff coming in from those 2 gentlemen there. What a performance from them. They were 2 of our guys to watch, should we say, as this duos tournament kicked off. We were sort of like, these guys could cause some serious damage in the tournament. Here they are, victory royale on the board for them, and certainly announced themselves to the field, gentlemen. And again, we're just seeing that patience in the end game there, just making sure they're not making those bad decisions, not getting rash, and looking for the eliminations too early. Perfect end game play from them.
Perfect end game play again. We saw it from Zayt and Saf. We saw it from Tux and Provoked. And again, Animal and Aspect doing it again. So they're getting the confidence back that they needed. Aspect didn't have the performance he wanted, but today he is. He's having that one. And Animal did so well yesterday, so he's starting to bring it all together in one fluid piece.
And that's what you need to do. Start picking up those big performances as the tournament rolls on, because as we know, every single match that goes past gets more and more important, and you have to start performing. You don't get those mistakes in the bank. The pressure was on these guys a little bit to have a big game here, and they did, Lothar.
Yeah, that is true. At the same time, you know, I feel like we're kind of talking about the same thing every single time, but I'm going to reiterate again. Consistency is key. Winning one game doesn't get you anything, right? If you're not going into good placements later on, you're not going to have anything from this win.
Okay, well, let's go down to Adam on the stage now with our winners of the last game.
Thanks so much, mate. Yeah, Animal Aspect here, our Game 5 winners, everyone. Guys, I can see you here just rocking side to side. You are buzzing. It must feel amazing when something pays off like that.
Yeah, it feels good. That was a pretty hard-earned game. Honestly, our high take was pretty good. And we just held it from there and picked off a bunch of people. Good game.
I mean, our North American players are doing outstandingly well today. You've been really consistent throughout the entire day so far. I guess strat-wise, everything's paying off.
Yeah, we had a couple of rough games because of Storm Surge. In the prac games, we didn't really have to deal with that, but we haven't been not fighting as many people, so we've been getting kind of flustered by that, but we tried a new strat this game and it worked out, so.
I've just been fed in my ear as well that you guys have moved up to 3rd in the leaderboard. That is amazing. After 5 games, things could be much better right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, we dropped down to 9th. The Storm Surge really messing us up, but we did things a little different and worked, so I'm going to keep trying it and hopefully keep climbing.
And I've asked a few players this already, but obviously, the caliber of players we have here this weekend, are there players you're already keeping an eye on to kind of think, oh, we got to watch out for those guys and things?
Zayt and Saf, Vinny and Zexro, DML and Bizzle, Mitro and Kuna, all really good duos. They're all doing well, so yeah.
Basically everyone. Basically everyone is capable. But congratulations. Our Game 5 winners, everyone. Aspect and Animal, well done, guys. Best of luck with the rest of the competition. 5 games down already. 2 more to go today. Hopefully these guys can keep up the good work. Back to you guys on the desk.
Thank you, Adam, Animal, and Aspect, feeling good about themselves as you would expect as we have our standings coming in. And look at that, moving up into 3rd place, but not being able to quite dethrone Vinny and Zexro, who are holding on to that 1st place, gentlemen.
Look at that, 250 for both Sentinels and VP.
Oof. That's a
doesn't get much closer. Game. It literally doesn't get any closer.
It does not get much closer at all. But one of the things I wanted to talk about there on that first page, Zexro and Vinny are 30 points ahead. That's starting to become a nice lead for them. And here, the 2nd page, Kripa and Boyer, all these players starting to fall, the players we were tracking, but Provoked and Tux, they had 2 strong games in a row. They get all the way to 12th place. I'm not sure where they were before, but such strong performances from them. Game back-to-back.
And we saw Demo and his teammate there. They've sort of fallen away from what they had a really good start. Demo and Bizzle, they've had a couple of games where they haven't been able to quite put in the performances they did early. But, I mean, Lothar, what are you taking away from these standards?
What I take away is that the top 15 is very close to each other. Like, there were differences like 159, 157, 155. So the difference is like one elim, one position in the game. That changes so much in the context of just, you know, performing in those 2 days. So we're going to have to like analyze the entire standings after 7 games.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, isn't it? Now, at this point in our previous duos competition where we only had 7 rounds, we're kind of going, okay, now we know what teams have got to do, how they've got to play, what they've got to, you know, look for eliminations if they just try and play for endgame. But now we have all of these games tomorrow as well. This is kind of just like a, okay, who's hot at the moment? Who's playing well? Whereas if we get towards the end of the things tomorrow, that's when that becomes more prevalent as far as big games that need to happen right here, right now.
Yeah, and when you're looking at these standings, just like Lothar was saying, how close it is between within the top 15 right there. And when you're digesting these, make sure you bracket these between how many points are between this place and this place. So 10th to 15th, between probably 30 points total.
Yeah,
and that is what you got to do. So when you're looking at who can have the chances to place in the money, this is what you got to do. Bracket these, see how far they can jump in one game.
Okay, gentlemen, fantastic stuff. 5 games down. It's time for a break now. But when we get back, we'll have our penultimate game of today before we wrap things up. We'll see you in a second.